No, that was after the whatever.
The incident. You should see
after the old fighteroo.
Yeah, yeah. Do you like having those fights on the air on some level? Because it does.
I know it's great radio, but in the end, you just look like an asshole.
Yeah,
you just look like an asshole.
Yeah,
and I know there's no real problems there that can't be fixed. So,
well, that's what happens too. Like when you work with people. I think I talked about this a little bit when we talked about it here. Like you work with people, and you don't really talk to them a bunch outside the show, and things build and build and build until all they can do is explode. That's been every fight that's ever happened,
of course,
on the main show, whether it was you and Ann or you and Jim.
But Justin has tried to interrupt and stop it.
That was my favorite.
Did you hear, guys?
And then Jim goes, no, Justin, there's adults. We're adults and we're talking.
Me and Jimmy looked at each other at that point, and we were on the same page. We're like, what is he doing? This is great radio. No matter what, it's great radio. I mean, right. Everyone here tuned into the channel.
Dude, I was at home. My dad called me at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, is somebody in the family dead? Because everybody knows 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm asleep.
Yeah, don't bother me.
Right. And he calls me. He's like, Sam, you got to turn on the radio. I was like, oh, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not good. It's not good. And I was like, oh, I'll bet it's not good. And I turned it right on immediately and listened wholeheartedly.
It started jerking off.
I did. I loved it.
I know you loved it.
I got a text maybe an hour 30 into it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean an hour 30?
Dude, it's an hour and 40 minutes long.
Yeah, it's an hour.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
So they were like,
trust me, I listened back on YouTube.
The text I got was, how do we get out of this?
Who was it?
And I said, we don't ride this to 11.
You know what's my favorite? Who was it?
It was the Stangles, probably, right?
Yeah.
They're not used to that type of thing.
My favorite part.
They're not used to, because they're writing me too, and I'm like, just leave it. We're good. We'll be all right.
My favorite part of that whole back and forth is that if you remember it, because that fight was very reminiscent of what I call the grape incident, when you and Anthony got into a fight that started with grapes.
Oh, right.
It was reminiscent of that for a lot of reasons, not only because of the way the fight was, but because in that one, if you remember, halfway through the fight, Erock was the one who got scared. And he came in. He was like, "I have some audio from South Park."
Yeah, I wasn't fully used to that either. Right. So I'm like, I thought I was trying to be responsible. I'm like, this was going on long enough. We probably should try to move on or go to break or something. And I learned that lesson very quickly.
Right. You got thrown the fuck out of the studio.
And then was laughing my head off when Justin had his South Park moment.
He did.
Guys. That's all I remember from that whole thing. Guys.
No. Adults are talking.
That's what Jim said.
No.
We're adults and we're going to be talking.
That's my third one.
Your third big fight?
Yeah, me and Jimmy had two now.
Right. The first one, and there's a lot. Like, if you go back, because the first one, though, was years ago.
Right.
Like, that was like beginning of XM. And you can really tell it was years ago.
Why?
Because that was the fuckface fight. That was, you were angry, Opie, still back then.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because there was cursing and yelling.
Therapy, yeah.
Is that what it was?
Before the old therapy.
Therapy allowed you to communicate a little bit?
Yeah, you realize you can't yell and scream your points because then people think you're a fucking asshole.
Right.
You can still think I'm an asshole, but at least I'm calmer about it.
Okay.
With my points.
Right.
Oh, Eric, you love me. Relax. why the half shows, though?
Okay.
Huh?
I was not saying anything against you.
What was that?
I get what you said. Because Opie said people think you're an asshole and you're not an asshole. And
I was
Eric
like, okay.
Yeah, but you said it in a way that
you
was
said like,
okay, if you say so.
Oh, no, that's not what I meant. But
right. Why the half seasons?
Yeah, well,
you had 8 minutes left. You should have just went around the room. I don't know.
Because half the room was
you do a very
on
good
the
radio
floor,
show.
Outside
That's
there.
what's great radio.
Yeah.
That's the good
you
shit.
should have gotten all fucked up, to tell you the truth.
Right.
Because, Yeah,
because people, who's going to get you, who are you going to get in trouble with if you get fucked up in here during your own beer show?
I don't know. I mean,
really? Not me.
Well, if anything gets fucked up in here. No, Don's MIA this week.
But I'm just saying.
He went on vacation and nobody knew. So
I didn't know.
So who are you going to get in trouble with? Even if beer spilled in something and something got fucked up.
Yeah, because you know what? You had the
Nothing
luxury.
could have happened.
Opie's here.
Right.
If Opie's in the room, you can literally set the place on fire. And you're fine. Because because it doesn't matter. Because Opie was here. He said it was good radio, and Don's not gonna. He's not gonna yell at Opie. He tried like once to reprimand Opie. It didn't go well.
When was that?
He reprimanded you, and then you came back on the air and made fun of him. Oh, yeah, and it was like wasn't good.
He tried yelling at me one day, and I started openly laughing at him, and he got even madder.
And then you reflected that story on the air the next morning.
I don't do well with the dumb yelling thing.
But
then I giggled, and then he got really fucking mad.
Those are the two things that I'll go back and listen to. Is number one, the fights like we were just talking about. I'll go back and listen.
You go and listen to them?
Yeah, I'll go back and listen to fights from years ago. Staff fights I was in, whoever.
Oh, well, yeah, fights that don't include me, I'll go listen to, I guess.
But you can't listen. I mean,
no, those fights, I know they're out there. I know people are saying whatever they have to fucking say about it, and that's it. I will never listen to that stuff.
Right.
Never listen to the fight I had with Ant. Never listen to the fight I had with Jimmy, the first one or the second one.
But you also, I mean, those you live those things. That's a lot for you.
Yeah, in a strange way though, that fight the other day put me and Jimmy back on the same page.
That's what I think happens. Like you guys, it's rough when it's happening, but now it's out on the table. You know what I mean? It's a conversation that probably could have been had lightly off the air a long time ago. It just didn't happen though. So, but now we know, and you can kind of just either. Well, you start from scratch. Like you start from like, okay, we both know what's going on.
Yeah.
And we can move forward, I would think, or...
And I loved how we didn't even mention it the next day. It drove people nuts.
I know it did. It really did. I get it.
We came in here and just had a really good, fun show.
And I'm sitting
with
there...
a lot of laughs. And people like, what the fuck? You're ignoring the elephant in the room.
You're not supposed to be getting along again. No, we're here to leech the blood off of you.
Right.
And then I was sitting there going like, oh, and Colin Quinn is coming in. He's not going to let him off the hook. And it was they're just having a good time.
He didn't even ask us about it.
I know.